Hey, how are you doing? Here I am watching the latest behind the scenes from Apple. If you don't know about this, recently Apple did a presentation about the MacBook Pro. The presentation was shot in the iPhone, and in this video I wanted to talk to you about it and discuss why this is important to filmmakers. Could be that you're not an Apple user, could be that you don't own an iPhone, but as filmmakers we can learn some things from this presentation. Let's jump into it. For this presentation, Apple could have used any cinema camera, but they chose to use the iPhone 15 Pro to shoot the whole event when there were presenters in scene, and also all the drone shots were done with the iPhone. And one important fact is that most of this was done during the night, which is where this sensor, it suffers the most because it's a small sensor, the iPhone sensor. And even though they managed to get a really nice looking image, this is a great marketing campaign from Apple. What started being a MacBook Pro event ended up being like a marketing campaign for the new iPhone 15 Pro. If you don't know about this, they recently released the iPhone 15 Pro and the Pro Max, and they introduced some new tools for filmmakers. One of these things is that they introduce log encoding, the same as cinema cameras or mirrorless cameras have log encoding to achieve the most dynamic range. Now you can do the same with the iPhone. You get the log encoded ProRes file, and then you can tweak the saturation and the contrast in post-production, thing you can do now with the iPhone. And the comments that I've seen on YouTube about this, like people that have used the new log and they try to color grade it in post, the results are really nice. You don't get the sharpness that you get by default from the iPhone footage, and you have like a closer to what a regular camera would provide. This MacBook Pro event shot with the iPhone showcases how Apple really cares about filmmakers when they create the camera for the iPhone. One thing that in software development you say that you are dogfooding your own development is that you use your products, and Apple is doing that with this, is basically using the product that they created that has video capabilities to record the event for the next product that they're launching. A great way of knowing what's working and what's not. One thing is that they say in the keynote that filmmakers are using the phone, but another thing is that they are really using it and seeing all the problems that they have while using the phone to create an event. So they are going to learn from this process, and next phones are going to be better because they found issues while shooting professionally with the iPhone, and most likely we're going to benefit from that in the next iPhone 16 Pro. One thing that I'd say as well is that they mixed footage from the phone, the ones that were doing the presentations, with other better cameras footage. Some of the videos that were in the presentation were not shot with the iPhone. I think that helps also not noticing that some of the shots were shot with an iPhone. One thing to have in mind is that the production that they did for the event is not the same that you would achieve with your phone at home, because they had cinema equipment. The only thing that changed was the camera. You can see jeeps, trains, super expensive lighting in the shots, and I think it's okay, like they do that anyway with using another camera. But this also showcases like the camera is the least important part in one of these productions. Most of the modern cameras are really good nowadays, even phones. So if you have good lighting, good stabilization, and a good set production, you're going to achieve something really good no matter the camera you're using. We've also seen this with the FX3 being used in the creator. People are talking about the camera, but what they don't talk about is that what's behind the camera and all the set production, all the budget that they had for the creator is what makes the creator a Hollywood blockbuster movie, not the camera itself. The camera is only one piece of the 20 or 30 moving pieces in that movie. Same with the Apple event. The camera is one part because it's the sensor that it's getting the image in the end, but it's only one piece of the puzzle that makes the whole event look professional. A lot of people are talking about this on Twitter and saying like that doesn't make sense that they use a phone if they ended up using this expensive gear. It's a good marketing campaign. They would have used that anyway to do the keynote presentation. So why don't use the phone if the sensor is good enough and you can show the capabilities of the log encoding and how you can color grade it in post? I think it's great. Like a lot of people are complaining about it, but I think I don't know what they expect. Like they are going to expect that someone handheld shoots these events. I think it's not possible. Like that's not going to happen. And that's not even something that they're trying to sell. They're not trying to sell that this event was shot only with the iPhone. If we can take one takeaway from this, is that any camera is super good nowadays, but we need to learn a lot of things to make great videos. Lighting, stabilization, post-production, color grading. There's so many variables to make a video look great, and in the end the camera is something that, yeah, it's good to have like a great camera as a starting point, but it's not everything. equipment is getting cheaper and cheaper. You can see that with lighting, that LED lights are much cheaper nowadays. Cameras are getting much better, having cinema quality footage for the prices that previously were home cameras. This shows how complex this craft is, but I think as a hobbyist filmmaker, I love to see how far things are going and all the possibilities that we have with the gear that we own, even if we're not going to have like the gear that they use in the Apple keynote, because that's something that only big production have. Hey, editing David here. I just realized that I didn't record an ending for this video. So if you've made it until this point, subscribe to the channel to see more videos like this one, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.